Up to the present date. Brad Keller, head coach, kind enough to join us. I mean, such an exciting time for you, for your program. Easy to be a bit overwhelmed and excited at the same time. What are the emotions that you and your players are feeling as you're here at Media Days, looking ahead to a season that's really going to be like none other?
Excited. I mean, I've been shaking all day because it's been a little overwhelming in a great way. My girls are having the time of their life. They're trying to get me in a TikTok video. I'm not doing that yet. I swear I'm not going to do. I might do it. And just the professionalism. This whole thing has just been top notch, and I love it.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here. And one of your players, Tuaniga, gave the speech at the dinner on Monday night and just jumps off the page with personality. And you were just telling me that that's one thing that you actually recruit, not just talent, not just skill, not just chemistry, but personality as well. Why is that important to your program?
Well, you're going to be with these young women for 5 years or 4 years. You might as well like them, right? I mean, you might as well try to get along with them. And this is at the end of the day, it's a game. And so if it's a game, you gotta push the fun and all that stuff out. So I want powerful personalities. I want dreamers. I want go-getters. I want these things because it makes it so much fun. And then one of my favorite quotes is, imagination is more powerful than the knowledge. Knowledge is limited. So I want people to be big dreamers. And so I think I have that. I have two individuals that are here to represent, and they're exactly that.
So how has that helped you? And how has that manifested itself as you get ready for a change, a seismic change that maybe some players could look at as a massive challenge and a little bit scary? I'm guessing with those kind of personalities and recruits, they're looking at it as more of an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a big challenge, but don't we want that? Aren't we going after the challenge? Don't you want to be at your very best and play the best? And so when this opportunity came up, you have to have people that go towards the fire, I guess, instead of run away from the fire. And so I think that I have that with this team. I think I have that with our future recruits. I think I have that with my staff. I mean, I have a fantastic staff. And the excitement in our gym right now is a little much. It's awesome.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think you were maybe the only unbeaten Big Ten team a year ago because you went 2-0 against Big Ten competition.
That's right.
And you did it away from home, too. There's been a lot of talk about the compare and contrast between what the style of Pac-12 volleyball was and what the style of Big Ten volleyball has been. How much legitimacy is there to that compare and contrast?
You know, I don't know what I don't know yet. So I've seen a lot of video of these teams, and there's some differences with all the different programs. We're going to be different this year. We're going to play a very different style of ball than we did last year. We are going to go a lot faster. We're going to be more creative. We are going to take a lot more risk. And so if you're a fan, hang on to your pants because it's going to be a wild ride here. So it's going to be a fun one, though.
All right, let's talk about the players that you brought, and we'll start with Mia, who, as I mentioned, we got to hear at the player and coaches dinner on Monday. She's a back-to-back all Pac-12 selection, steadily climbing up the all-time assist list at USC. How much does this team rely on her ability to get the ball in the right spots to the right players at the right time?
I would say in the past it would be 100%. I think now with our new style of play, I think there's just less stress amongst everybody and how they play. There's more grace in how we're passing, how we're setting, how we're playing. And by freeing each other up, you end up playing better. And so I think there's less of that, and it's more of just her presence, what she's gone through. You know, I said earlier that she's grown up around this game. She's known this game for a very long time. It's her time, and she's seizing it, and she's not afraid. And you saw that last night in her talk. She's not afraid of what this is. And don't you want that as your floor general? Don't you want that as your quarterback? I mean, I do. So
Lincoln Riley probably does, too.
I think Lincoln Riley does, too. Yeah, that's right. So I think all that stuff is super important. She knows how much I care about her. This whole team knows how much I care about them. So, but I think to go off on that real quick, we had a real tough conversation in December, and that's between her and I, but we both had to do a little bit growing up and like what we had to do to help each other get to this point. And so I think that now we're in a very good space as far as player coach and what we need to do with this team.
Your other player rep is pretty familiar to those who watched the Big Ten. Ally Batenhorst, great things at Nebraska. Why was she a right player for you out of the transfer portal, and what do you expect right off the jump?
Well, to start off, so Ally and I went up and did a camp, and I can't believe I'm saying this story, but this camp, they had a bunch of different kids in this camp that have not been around volleyball at all. She was like the Beatles. I mean, the screaming and the yelling, like everywhere she goes, they just, I have to take pictures. She's like, I'm sorry, Brad. I go, I know this is starting to get old. They don't even know who I am. It's like all that stuff, but she just has this presence, this aura about her. She demands the room without having to do a whole lot of talking. She's kind to everybody. She leads by example. She's a really good volleyball player. She's been to 2 national championships. She knows how to play in front of the biggest crowds. So she's battle tested, right? And so to be able to bring in a seasoned veteran outside hitter that has those qualities would be a really good compliment to Gray Gosnell, who's coming over as well, to a talented freshman class that we have, and then our setter, Mia Tuaniga.
We just saw some of Ally's highlights from her time in Lincoln. What's most impressive about her skill set?
Yeah, the funny part is I have never seen her hit personally yet. So,
only on tape.
Only on tape.
And we just got to see some more there.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah.
So the thing that jumped out at me was how high above the net she actually is in person, especially on her block. So that part was really great. The other thing is she has natural touch on her platform. And that's something you either have or you don't. You don't really develop that. So if you have natural touch, then you can do a lot of great things with the ball.
Brad, I want to go kind of big picture here. The transfer portal changed a lot of things. Obviously, anyone who wants to compete at the highest level has to use the transfer portal. But now that's something of a known. What's kind of unknown is the revenue sharing, the pay for play, if you will, how it's going to affect programs outside the major revenue sports. As a coach, how do you avoid getting too deep into the weeds because you're focused on the team, but also understanding this is going to affect the way that your program operates in the future?
Well, no matter what, it's the future. I mean, it's going to happen whether a coach likes it or not, whether a player likes it or not. We're heading towards that realm, and so it's about embracing it, educating yourself on it, making sure you've got really good people and mentors around you to help guide you through that instead of just jumping off in the deep end and then trying to figure it out. So USC has done an amazing job with Jen and the entire athletic administration of how we're going to do this moving forward. There's been a lot of talk of how we're doing it, when we're doing it, why we're doing it. But to really answer your question, it's happening. So you might as well jump in, right, and get going on it.
Yeah, and Jen gave me the same answer when I talked with her at the Big Ten Summit in late May, and she specifically pointed out women's basketball and women's volleyball and those two programs and the trajectory that they are on, and wanting to make sure that they stay on those trajectories regardless of what happens in that revenue sharing era. Your non-con starts with a weekend series against Pepperdine. You also play Creighton, and that's in Omaha, always a tough team in a tough spot. You have Pitt at home, a team that's been among the top 10 nationally for multiple years, and then you host the SoCal Cup. It is a really difficult non-con. Why you schedule like that?
So I did 2 things there. We only take 1 trip, right? We're only going to Omaha once. Part of that was we don't know how the travel thing is going to work out, and so and we are a semester school, so we start a little bit earlier. So I wanted to make sure we had more home matches so our kids could get a rhythm in class and make sure they don't fall behind. And that was part of the thought process with that, because again, we don't know what we don't know. The second thing was you want to get good RPI teams that are going to compete for their conference titles or whatever, because at the end of the day, if you're not winning your conference, you're going to have to get in somehow, some way, and RPI is everything. We also don't want to back down from challenges, right? You want to play the Pitts, you want to play Creighton, you want to play these teams because they are really good volleyball programs.
That being said, the RPI and the 500 rule is going to be fascinating, especially in this league. How much are coaches thinking about that right now? And just to be clear for our viewers, the NCAA rule have to be 500 overall to get into the tournament, which means in a league like this, if you have a really tough non-con and go 2 or 3 games below 500, you have to be 3 or 4 games above 500 in the Big Ten just to get in, no matter how good your RPI is. How much are coaches thinking about this? How much more conversation has to take place about that specific issue?
I think if you're not thinking about it, you are way behind. You have to figure out ways to protect your program, enhance your program, and put yourself in good situations. So when you schedule non-conference, you have to think, okay, how many freshmen are going to be here? Because you have to get used to it. We have a new team. How's that rhythm going to look? Are we a veteran team like I think Shondell was talking about Purdue being a seasoned team? I think they know each other already. So you probably schedule a little bit differently that way. And it is a risk. You have to not go below 500 in non-con. There's no question about that, especially with what the Big Ten has to offer.
All right, finally, it's not that long until the first match of the year pops up. I know you've never even had the chance to see Ally swing in person. You will soon when camp opens, but that camp is seemingly so short before you actually have to play that first game. So once you are able to get your hands on it, to really see what's going on, what's the biggest focus between the time you leave here and the time the ball goes up for the first match?
Oh, that's a great question. I wasn't ready for that one. I would say the most important thing is making sure we're not overdoing it. I think that when the issue that you have is that you have this certain amount of time and then you're going to go on the road and you're going to start playing all these matches. So the league has already done a good job. We're only playing 2 matches the first weekend. We're only playing 2 matches the second weekend. That's on purpose, so we're not grinding our kids. We're making sure that we're not going double days every single day. Yes, we can focus on the passing and all these little things, but at the end of the day, it's about managing our bodies and keeping ourselves injury-free. If we can keep ourselves injury-free and keep ourselves intact culturally, which we're really good at, then I think we're going to have a lot of possible success.
Brad Keller, USC head coach. Brad, great to meet you. Look forward to working with you in your program, watching you throughout the course of the year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take a closer look at some of the notable games now on the USC schedule. We discussed that Pitt game, part of a non-con that also includes Creighton. And then you get into Big Ten play, some terrific road trips. How about late September in Lincoln to face the Huskers? Get to go to a Pac-12 friend in Eugene with Oregon in early October. Late in the year, that trip to Washington to finish things off. We've touched on a couple of the USC players. To hear more from them, back to Elena and Holly.
Thanks so much, Rick. Holly and I are so happy to be joined today by Mia Tuaniga and Ally Batenhorst, USC volleyball players. Thank you for being here with us today. Welcome to the conference. Welcome to Big Ten Media Days. Hope you guys have been having fun so far. We had a great dinner on Monday evening. Mia, you spoke, and everyone was absolutely blown away. Well, how excited are you to be part of this conference?
I'm super excited. I don't know much about Big Ten. So I'm being very educated this whole day and all of yesterday, and I'm just really excited, and it's just a huge blessing to be able to be so welcomed by all of you guys, so thank you.
Ally, big change, right? Now you're on the West Coast. Is it a different feeling in the gym? We've heard a lot of people talk about the different styles of play. Are you feeling that, seeing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just the West Coast volleyball is totally a different style. It's a lot more creative and a lot more freedom in that area, but yeah, it's been super fun. Definitely a different culture in LA than it is in Lincoln, and I'm super excited. It's been a lot of fun. The girls are really cool.
Mia, your coach talked about you and him having a difficult conversation in December. I know you guys have battled a lot of injuries, but now in the spring feels like things are moving in the right direction. What have the biggest challenges been in the gym now that you have a full squad?
I wouldn't consider a lot of our spring or off-season being challenging. I think most of our spring has just been us learning so much more volleyball, really amping up our IQ. I mean, you can see the height of our team. We're not going to be the biggest. So a big thing is just how can I be smarter? How can I get faster? And that's just, I think you guys are going to see that this season. So yeah.
Ally, you've obviously had years of experience already in this conference. Now you're joining this USC volleyball program. Who's coming to this conference? How have you used that experience to kind of help your teammates prepare them for the Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten's a huge competitive conference, right? And every game's such a big game. And I think just having that experience under like high pressure situations and just being in such big matches all the time and just that type of play is obviously different than the West Coast. So I think just kind of having that experience will definitely translate and kind of help lead the team in a way.
I think there are 2 of you on the team now who played in the Big Ten before who can share the little insights being on the road. Sharing the Big Ten conference secrets. But what's your favorite venue to play in outside of USC and Nebraska?
Well, I would say, outside of USC and Nebraska, probably Penn State's pretty intense. I know we're not really going there this year, but it's always super high energy and the crowd's like super into it, and it's always just super intense. So I think that would probably be my favorite.
Mia, do you have any venues you're looking forward to competing in?
Not really. I'm just excited for every game. Yeah, everywhere we go, I'll be there.
Love it.
We can't wait to see you there at every match as well. And what I'm super excited to see is your coach Keller was just talking about how you're kind of amping up the offense a little bit this year. You're going to speed that up. As a former setter, both of us understand that's not easy to do. How have you kind of accepted that challenge, and how has that affected your training?
I think this whole time it's just been about a lot of trust. You know what I mean? We know what the errors are going to look like. We know what the good is going to look like. And, you know, this whole time we've just been really trying to build that trust. And we understand that it's not going to go great every single time. So we're just going to, our foundation right now is that relationship that we have off the court, that relationship that we have, you know, this whole time trying to build that whole thing. So, yeah.
A lot of new players in the gym for you guys. Who is the emotional leader, the vocal leader when you're in the gym together this summer?
I would say you. I would say you're very vocal, and like you lead the team in energy and vibes, high energy all the time. I think Adanya and I think Adanya are pretty high energy.
Yeah, I would say we're pretty high energy, but someone who has also really been amping up her voice as well is Tyra Ariel.
Yeah.
She's been with us for a long time, and it's just really cool to see her grow as a leader and grow as a player as well. So I'm excited to see her, you know, really use this voice this next season.
Yeah.
We'd love to get to know USC volleyball just a little bit more. Obviously on the court, but off the court as players. Ally, I know you've only been there a little bit, but would love to just hear from you guys what the culture of the program is like, what fans can expect to see when they see USC volleyball take the court.
We were just talking about this yesterday, and I think Brad does a really good job on really caring for us as individuals. You know, of course, he's worried about stats and all these other volleyball things, but he truly cares as us as people. And I think you can really see that through the way we play. We're very free. You know, we're not afraid to be ourselves. And I think you can see a little bit of that, you know, as we're walking through these halls. We're loud and we're dancing half the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not afraid to really be ourselves. And I think USC is a place to really find who you are, you know. So I think that's what you're going to see through the way we play.
Absolutely.
Tyler Hildebrand joining the coaching staff. What kind of an impact has he had on your program? I don't think you've been in the gym with him yet, just Mia.
Well, I've actually known Tyler since I was like 5 years old. So it was really cool to like see him come in the gym, and it was really an adjustment because he's so close to my family. So it was like, whoa, it's like having another uncle around and everything. So that's been really fun, and just the effect that he's had in the practice gym, and he's not afraid to, you know, show his passion for volleyball, and you can really see the IQ that he brings to the team as well. So.
And Ally, you did get a little bit of experience with him coaching you as well, right? How are you excited now playing for him at another university? Just kind of give us some insight into having him as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler is one of my favorite coaches, and when I found out he was going to SC, it was just awesome. I think he, obviously, like Mia said, he's very passionate about what he does, and him and the staff does a really good job of kind of creating an atmosphere where we feel able to be free and just have that freedom to be creative with our shots and try new things. And him and the staff kind of give this space where we're able to kind of work through things and kind of, just grow and find a new way of playing volleyball. Like you said, the West Coast is very different than like the Midwest. So
It's interesting, everybody talking about what that stylistic difference is between the West Coast and the Big Ten. Tell me this, what match are you looking forward to on the schedule?
Sounds pretty obvious, but I'm excited to go back to Nebraska. You know, Husker Nation's amazing, and those are my people, and I'm just so excited to kind of be back and be around my family and just old people that, you know, I've kind of grown my game with, and they've just supported me through so many years of just everything. So super pumped for that. It'll be high energy for sure.
Mia, do you have any games circled on your calendar?
The whole calendar is actually circled.
I
don't really have it. I think my team is circled on the calendar.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's
USC.
Yes,
good
yes.
answer, good answer.
Good fire.
Ally, coming to this USC program, I kind of asked you this one, but have your teammates asked you anything about like what to expect coming into the Big Ten, and what have you kind of told them about play in this conference? Obviously, Pac-12 volleyball was not easy at all to play in, but it is just a different play style of volleyball. Have you given them any advice?
Yeah, I would say it's just obviously a different style of play, and I think going in, nobody really knows what to expect from us, and I think just kind of playing our game, focusing on playing West Coast volleyball, doing what we do best, and I think that'll really stir some people up in the Big Ten. I think we're really just excited to be in front of such big crowds and play against such high competition with kind of being a team that no one really knows what to expect, so that's really exciting.
I think your team has spent some time off the court together this summer. What do you guys like to do as a team?
Go to the beach.
Go to the beach.
Number one.
There's a beach.
Yeah. We love doing like sunset beach times. So like we'll go there like sweats and hoodies and just like order pizza and then just chill on the beach. So that's
Get
super
sushi.
fun. Yeah. And then you went to a concert, right? A country concert?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I
Who'd
went
you
with
see?
a few of the girls. Kenny Chesney,
Ooh.
Megan Maroney, and Zach Brown Bam. It was really fun.
A lot of stuff going on in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always stuff to do in LA, for sure.
That's awesome. We'd love to get to know you guys a little bit more as like all around people, USC student athletes. Mia, I know you've been there for a little bit. Ally, still new to you, but kind of what does it mean to you to be a USC student athlete? Obviously rigorous academics, a historically great volleyball program. What does it kind of mean to you just to be able to wear that USC on your chest?
Oh, it's a huge blessing just to be able to wear a USC jersey every season. And I didn't know how big of a deal it was until I got there and how big of a deal it was to really be a part of the Trojan family. And I think our coaching staff, shows us every day what it truly means to be a Trojan. And, there's so many other athletes walking around, so many other students walking around with just the standard to be great. And that's what I love the most about being a USC student athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just internationally, it's just a well-renowned school, and there's just so much respect when you talk about USC. And obviously, like you said, it's high academics, lots of high standards, and yeah, it's just been really cool to be a part of there's such a dynasty that there is at USC. And, we talk about the Olympics, and there's I think we have like the most Olympians out of all like the schools, but I can't remember. But tons of Olympians, and there's just so much respect and just amazingness that comes with being a USC student athlete. So
I know one of the reasons why you went to USC is because you want to be on this side as a sports broadcaster. Are you taking any classes that give you the reps in front of the camera?
So I don't know exactly what my schedule is going to look like yet, but I am studying like digital media management, something along those lines. And I think just being in LA outside of just USC, and like there's tons of connections down there, and lots of opportunity in the city itself. And yeah, I'm just super excited to see what this opportunity brings.
Well, Ally, you're a natural on camera. Mia, you are as well, so maybe think about that as well. But thank you guys so much for your time today, Ally and Mia. It's been so much fun getting to know you and getting to know USC volleyball. Welcome to the Big Ten, and I hope you have a great rest of Big Ten Media Days.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Back
it.
to you, Rick.